Hello everybody, it's Jeffrey, and here I am. This is basically my new video, and I'm just going to show you what is not Nibiru, black star, plasma, and so on, etc., etc. This is hopefully somebody that is believing this stuff will look at this and go, yeah, you know what, that is a lens flare. So anyway, I'm just going to go through here, try to get through these and see what we've got here. This is the Nibiru channel. This is what you are if you try to point something out that isn't true. Okay, so this is the latest one. They've all collaborated together and decided that that was signs of the incoming Nibiru system. And notice the date down here, 2/14. I guess we can zoom in on that and see that these are all really lens flares here. If you move the camera around, these move with the camera. So this is really nothing. If you look at the actual film from this, it tells a different story. This is on one of my own videos, and you can see the really pretty flare up here. The shield on it, spokes, everything. Okay? And there's, well, could be Jupiter, I guess, in here. I don't know. This is obviously a flare. It's overlapping this one. That's, you know, how can that be? And these are just lights from I don't know, somewhere. Here's the camera. You can go back to that date, check it out yourself. Right there. Photo webcam, EU, European Union. So, okay, sorry about the zooming here, but I wanted to show you each of those things in case you can't see them. They're kind of small. But there we have it. Okay? Lens flares. Anybody tries to tell you that those planets are exchanging plasma and so on, they're crazy. I mean, it's for entertainment purposes, I guess, you know, but just don't believe it, that's all. Okay. There's another shot of that. And you can go to these cameras, it even shows where it is, the view, everything. Very nice. You need to get looking at these things. Here's a new one. This was actually taken on October 20th. And here we have a lens flare, but you should see my video on this, because as soon as the camera moves, it all moves over here. So it's not. But if you zoom in, yeah, there it is, man. There's a green one over here too. Go figure. This is what brings in the clicks. We've got 30,000 followers here, and this guy hasn't presented one single real picture of Nibiru or anything to do with it. It's all you know, entertainment only. But the thing is, go ahead and you know, just don't believe it. Here's a zoomed in something that they're calling the planet with the hole in it. Don't know where this is from. It's out of context. Shows, yeah, it shows something here. But there it is. The hole's like sideways, right? And then it looks like part of the planet's missing. Then over here, it's over here. There it is again. I think that's a cylinder, whatever it is. This looks like it's a cylinder of some type sticking out of a flat disc. I don't see that looking as a sphere at all. So, you know, they present this stuff out here and try to make you believe that it's a planet with a hole in it. It's ridiculous. This is what got me going, really. Jeff P. channel. This is a airport cam. It's a foggy, cloudy night, And here's a bright light over here. This is this is all lens flare actually, but wait till you see. Spends a whole entire video trying to make people believe this is something else. Now I know that this is all lens flares, and I really can't explain why this is reflecting off of here, but these are all time lapse of a few seconds. So this could have been a bright light that moved from here to here. Maybe it was a, it could have been a meteor came down. Could have been a helicopter with a spotlight on it, for all I know. But these are lens flares, so it didn't come out of a lens flare. Here's the lens flares again. These are zoomed in, by the way, by none other than Jeff P. Channel. Because when you zoom in, it really makes it look, like it's something. But they're all lens flares. Here's a big mess of lens flares over here. This is almost looking like there's water on the lens somehow. Here's a zoom in of that thing, another lens flare. Here it is again, lens flare. But here's the web page. Well, this is in the video, but look at this. Nemesis being eclipsed and plasma discharged between planets caught in Australia. Okay, so if you're a totally non-science person, you might believe this, but look, it's impossible. Okay? Now right there's this reflection here. But like I said, this is a time lapse of seconds too, so something could have easily moved here from here to here. I don't know why this isn't reflecting off of there though. Zoom in on that. Oh. Very strange, but it certainly isn't planets exchanging plasma right over the airport here. Again. Now, I hate to bring this up, but this is from one of my favorite UFO sites, and when I pointed out that what they were calling a UFO was really just a dust speck on the lens, here it is. And you can't see the other speck very well, but it's right above that pointer. Right there. It's hard to see, but you have to basically go by the angle. Anyway, there it is. So watch when I do the pictures. The dot is in the same place. These are from Curiosity rover, by the way. There's what they said was a flying saucer on Mars. There's another smaller one over here. The dot is over here. I'll have to zoom these in. There's the dot. I mean the speck of dust on the lens. The other piece is over here right somewhere. Gotta do the angle right. I think it's like in here. But there it is again, but this time you can see the other tiny speck of dust. There it is, same spot. In fact, I'll make a couple of these go through, you can see. Oh, okay, that didn't work, but anyway, there it is again. It's here again. The other one is over here. It's real hard to see that other one, but I think that's it. There's the so-called flying saucer. There it is again. And look at this. This is from the Curiosity rover. These are actual pictures this year. It's the same exact piece of dust, and it's on every single picture. There it is again. You can see that. I probably don't even need to zoom it in right there. Same pose. There's again and again. So anyway, just to let you know that dirt specks are being called UFOs. And since I'm a UFO hunter, that just kind of offends me. And when I brought that up at their site, I did very nicely said, "Excuse me, I was just there yesterday and I saw all those dust specks, and those aren't flying saucers." And my comment was deleted. So instead of "thank you for pointing that out for my 600,000 subscribers to know," it's better they just think that's a flying saucer. Anyway, This is a lens flare from the sun that's over here. This is out just a small piece of the big picture, but that's all you get to see. Addicted to sports cam. Okay. FAA cams, you'll see lots and lots and lots of these. I've been looking at these for years, and it's just lens flare city. All kinds of colors and things that even look like planets. There's the real size of the sun, by the way. Something that people need to know. The sun isn't this huge thing. And that even looks a little big for the sun. I've been in astronomy for 40 years at least. You know, my education is in geology. I excelled in physics, mathematics, so I know what I'm looking at. There's that black dot on the sun. Don't know what that is yet. I'm told it's the camera, but there are things that are happening with it that make me believe it's not the camera, because this is getting hidden by whatever. There, now it's come up. You can see the whole thing. And here's another lens flare. Looks like a planet. This is the supposedly the iron dust that's collected out in outer space. It's raining down on the planet, and things are showing shadows through it. I don't even know if that's real. Inverted colors here to bring out this round thing on the left. Which is a sun flare, a lens flare. Another lens flare. These are pretty good. And of course there's no chemtrailing. These are all contrails. But I see this all the time. You'll see coatings on, if you look at fine lenses, you'll see coatings. Here's another one. Just totally fake. And these coatings on these expensive lenses are often red and green. If you look and reflect the light off them, you'll see red and green, kind of just on the reflection. So when you see these lens flares, that's what you're seeing. That's why they're green and red. That's because that's what the color of the coatings are. And these are just lens flares. But we're going to go ahead and say that these are stars. Oh, I don't know. More lens flare, just depends on how you hold the camera. Same thing. Chris Potter swearing to God that that's Nemesis. Or whatever. Oh, that's for sure. But that's a lens flare from the sun up to the left. In fact, I don't even know. I guess that's the whole picture, but these FAA cams are cropped like almost all the other cams because they don't show what the camera actually sees. So it is actually seeing the sun, but you don't get to see it. They crop it to keep these all the same size and so on. Okay. So anyway, lens flare. Again, this could even be CGI. This is a zoomed in flare, no doubt about it. See, you zoom in on these little tiny flares that it actually, they're round, of course. And this is a lens flare too. It's just a really bizarre one. Look at these lines out here too. A lot of times I see these lines. There's a big yellow one down here. And for all I know, they could have something to do with the sun. There's more problem. There's problems with the sun, no doubt. There is something going on. That I can tell you. But it's just that what I'm saying is this is not Nibiru. Okay, which is my main focus here. There it is. Obviously, a lens flare. Notice how round and huge the sun looks. It isn't that big at all. See? But just the fact that the sun is so huge, as you can see, that's the way the camera works. Lens flare. This is the SDO satellite orbit. You can read that, stop it and read. We don't have time for that. Here's the brown dwarf. Or at least that's what they're saying. So when you see these lens flares and they look like that, you can refer to their little handy chart here. Brown dwarf. Funnel-shaped flares. The dot with these things shooting out. This is all camera lens. Same deal. Only this is unique because the black dot is reflecting off the water. Well, how could it be in the camera if it's out in the water? And also here's a hexagonal shape. I see this a lot. It's either round or hexagonal. Now there's a real nice hexagonal shape one. And all of this you see here around it, this is all the chem clouds that are polluting the planet. Same deal here. In fact, those chem clouds will give you some pretty nice reflections in themselves because they're not water. And camera, flare down there. Pretty picture. That's not what the sun really looks like. This is a time exposure of something flying through the air. Not a UFO sky train. There's an actual picture of the size of the sun. That really is the sun. There it is again. It's the chembo. It's not water vapor up there. It's all chemicals. It's what you're breathing. Normal sunset. This is bright up here because that's the camera adjusting to the light. This is the moon. Somebody thought something was covering the moon. This is purported to be shooting a big beam down. No, that's just a cheap camera. This was seen. No idea what it is. More flares. And these, by the way, you can make that move around. Just move the camera around and you can move that thing. This has two reflections though. So somehow this got refracted up here. But like I told you, this is not water vapor in the sky. This is metal and barium compounds. And they have different optical refraction than water. But, most people, no one's going to understand that unless you've actually done the math and taken the classes. This is meaningless. It's the dot out there. Here, triangles, lots of triangles on these cams up here, FAA, Northwest. I think this is in Canada. For some reason, the Canadian ones do this a lot. Triangles. Here's that thing in the sky. You'll see this again. This is actually a lens flare from a light down here that's not shown. Here we go, zoom in again of the sun, reverse colors. These are all lens flare, but they're saying that this is the WSO mothership that's out there near Venus right now, I think. And then they actually call this a lens flare, F-A-L-A-I-R. And then a zoom in again showing more lens flares. That was told to be something else. Zoom in on more lens flares, sun to the right. Lens flare. This one had me going at first. More lens flare, see a lot of that. This is pretty nice, pretty pictured though. But this is a chembo. Like I said, it's a chembo, not a rainbow. This is a lens flare off to the left of the sun. Same deal. When these are close to the sun, it looks like it has wings. But when they get farther away, it encloses itself completely. And it's a flare. This thing is interesting. I don't really know what's going on here. This could be a satellite picture, but I don't know. I guess you could go to the website and check it out. Here's a zoom in of that thing we just saw in the sky over there, but the camera's down here to the right. But this is the prettiest lens flare I have ever seen. Look at that. And this is, the thing is, to show this is one thing, but then to start telling people what this isn't is something else. You know, this is not plasma shooting out, for heaven's sake. A lens flare. You saw it in that first yellow picture I showed you. More stuff here. This is an explosion. It's one of those addicted to sports cams. This light's shining up, but we were told this was shining down. I don't know. And these are the fuzzy spots on the lens being called plasma. Jeff P. A whole bunch of them are doing it. More light emanating from the ground, not the sky. Plasma upper right. That's a bug on the lens. It's dirt. Dirt or a spider. This is actually a spider, because you can see if you take enough shots of this, it moves around. There it is over there now. So all over the place. Again, out of focused smudge on the lens, or insect probably. There it is up there now.
I'll turn the bus back on, please.